Oh, hello everyone. I hope my voice is clear and my screen is visible to you. My voice is clear to you. So, anyone, please respond. My voice is clear and my screen is visible to you or not. Okay, so I'm waiting for 4 to 5 minutes. Then I will be starting today's session. So, we will be starting the session now. Just once let me know my voice is clear to you people or not. Anyone of you, please let me know. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Himanshi Singh. I am from Department of Mathematics, IIT Jodhpur. I'm currently pursuing my PhD here in broad area of probability and statistics. So today we will be discussing some of the concept which has been already discussed thoroughly in week 12 lectures, and we will be also having some of the questions which are basically which are based upon those concepts. So today will be our last tutorial for this session. Sorry, for this course. So this will be the last tutorial, and yeah. So I will be starting this session. If there is something like my screen is not visible or I'm not audible, then please let me know about that. So So I will be first giving you a brief description. So we have already discussed the simple hypothesis. Now we are moving towards the composite hypothesis. So if, for example, let us consider that we have x1, x2, xn random samples which are coming from the normal population. So with the distribution normal mu comma sigma square. So, for the such kind of hypothesis, for the hypothesis for the mean, if we are considering that the mean mu is equals to some mu naught and mean mu is not equals to the mu naught is the alternative hypothesis. Then in that for this kind of hypothesis which are basically dependent or which are basically testing for the means, so it can be different cases for these type of hypothesis, like the variance sigma square is known, the variance sigma square may not be known. So what are the conditions on those kind of situations? So if we have this kind of hypothesis and sigma square is known, then in that case we have the decision rule, like we reject h naught if mod of under root n x bar minus mu naught upon sigma naught is greater than equals to z alpha by 2. So it is basically coming from the standard normal distribution, and this sigma naught is basically the value of the sigma which is known. Okay, so this is for this hypothesis. And if the hypothesis like mu is greater than is equals to mu naught and the against the alternative mu less than mu naught, so the test is like under root n x bar minus mu naught upon sigma naught is less than equals to minus z alpha. So here we are considering basically the z alpha. So if I have this standard normal distribution, and so this is the point z alpha whose area in the right hand side is alpha. So basically this is the point which is minus of z alpha, which is opposite to it. So the left hand side of this point will be the area alpha. Okay, so this is basically the point z alpha here. And how is it coming? So actually we have that x bar minus mu naught divided by sigma naught by root n. So this follows the standard normal distribution. So this test is coming from there. So, so this is for when the sigma square is known. Now, in this case, if sigma square is not known, that is sigma naught is not there, so we consider the sample variance, basically the S. So there we know that if we replace the sigma naught by S, so x bar minus mu naught by S by root n, that this follows T distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So simply we will just be replacing this by T. So in this kind of hypothesis, we reject H naught if under root n x bar minus mu naught by S. So we have just replaced the sigma naught by S. So here S is the sample standard deviation. Okay. Now this mod quantity is greater than equals to t n minus 1 alpha by 2. So basically T distribution is again kind of this distribution. Here we are considering this point to be T n minus 1 comma alpha if the right hand side area is this is alpha. Okay, so this is that point. If negative of this point, so it is symmetric again, so it will be minus t n minus 1 comma alpha. So the left hand side area is alpha for this point. Okay, so this is basically we will be calculating from the T table. Now here the sigma square is unknown. Now we have already done the things for the mu, so we will be now focusing on sigma square. So if so this is normal test for normal variance. Okay, so if x1, these are the random sample again from the normal distribution. Now we are testing it for the variance. So for this also we have two conditions, that whether mu is known or mu is unknown. So if we have this hypothesis, then here since this summation xi minus mu naught whole square by sigma naught square. So if I consider that xi minus mu upon sigma, so this basically form follows normal 0 comma 1. If I consider this, so its square will follow the chi-square distribution with 1 degrees of freedom, and summation of xi minus mu whole square by sigma square, it will follow chi-square with n degrees of freedom. So here this test is coming from there. So here the decision rule is that for the both-sided test we reject H naught if this quantity is greater than equals to chi square n comma alpha by 2 and less than is equals to chi square n comma 1 minus alpha by 2. So basically what it is representing, this chi square alpha is like if I have this chi square distribution. So this quantity is basically, this is chi square n comma alpha. So this is the alpha, the area is alpha here, and this is the point chi square n comma 1 minus alpha, where this, so this region is alpha, and this region, the area, this area is 1 minus alpha. Okay, so these points are written like that. So here the mu is known, that's why we can make use of this mu naught here. But what if this mu is not known? So if the mu is not known, then in that case we apply this test. This is coming that from n minus 1 s square by sigma square follows chi square with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So this test is coming from there, that n minus 1 s square by sigma naught square is greater than equals to chi square. Here in place of n, we have n minus 1 degrees of freedom at level alpha by 2, and chi square n minus 1, 1 minus alpha by 2. So this is basically the similar one, but since we have not do not we have the knowledge of mu, that's why we are considering the test statistics to be these quantities, and similarly for the other hypothesis. Now, now we will be going towards, if so we have considered these two cases. Now what about if the sample is very large and we do not have the condition that xi's are following the normal distribution? So if we do not have that x1 x2 xn are not normal, so we do not know whether they are normal or what. So x1, if x1 x2 xn are the random samples, but we know that the variance is sigma square. Okay, then s, so s is basically the sample standard deviation. It is approximately normal with mean sigma and variance sigma square by 2n. So this is approximately normal. So for large sample we have this kind of hypothesis. So this is, since this is standard normal, so now from this the now say s is, so here s follows normal sigma comma sigma square by 2n. Now from here we can say that s minus sigma upon sigma by under root 2n. So now this follows the standard normal. Okay, so that's why this test is coming from there only, that s minus sigma naught by sigma naught here under root 2n. So this basically follows a standard normal. That's why the test is coming that mod of this. So we reject h naught if mod of this quantity is greater than z alpha by 2. Okay, and here for this case, the we reject h naught if this quantity is less than minus z alpha, and we reject h naught in this case if this quantity is greater than z alpha. Here z alpha is the same quantity where it is standard normal, and at the right hand side the area is alpha, so this point will be z alpha. So this we can see from the standard normal table. So now what if we have two populations? So if we consider that we have x1 x2 xm random sample from the normal distribution with mean mu1 and sigma 1 square variance, and y1 y2 yn other is a random sample from population with distribution normal mu2 comma sigma 2 square. Now in this case, if we want to compare the compare the mean. Okay, mu1, whether mu1 is equals to mu2, or mu1 less than equals to mu2, or mu1 greater than equals to mu2. So such kind of hypothesis may be formulated. Now for this kind of hypothesis, since we have this sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square as their variances, so we have three type of cases, that sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square both are known. Okay, both are unknown but equal, both are unknown but unequal. Okay, so these three kind of cases are given. So if we have this hypothesis on mu1 and mu2, in order to compare the means, then if both the sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square are known, then in that case we have this decision rule. Now this is x bar minus y bar divided by under root sigma 1 square by n plus sigma 2 square by n. So you can see that x bar minus y bar minus mu1 minus mu2, if I consider, and under the null it is 0. So this divided by under root the variance. So variance will be the variance of the x bar, and plus the variance of the y bar. So it will be the sigma 1 square by n plus sigma 2 square by m. This is m, this is n. So this will be standard normal random variable. So this test is coming from there. So
हेलो
yes.
मैम, बोल रहे हैं कि मैम 20 से 25 दिन में एग्जाम है एक्चुअली, और मैम अगर मैम लेक्चर वगैरह नहीं किए हैं तो मैम आपका जो 12 के 12 लाइव क्लास करना सही रहेगा, कि मैम आप और कुछ टिप्स देना चाहेंगे एग्जाम रिलेटेड?
तो अपना क्वेश्चन रिपीट करो एक बार.
यस मैम। मैम बोल रहे हैं कि एनटीपीएल का एग्जाम शायद 5 मई को है, नेक्स्ट मंथ। और मैम मेरा
हम्म।
कॉलेज वाला इस एग्जाम के रिलेटेड रजिस्ट्रेशन करवा दिया है। और मैम कुछ पढ़े नहीं है, तो मैम आपका जो 12 का 12 लाइव क्लास है वो देखना सही रहेगा, कि मैम कहीं कुछ और आप टिप्स देना चाहेंगे?
सी अगर तुम देखो एक वीक का इफ यू आर टेकिंग द लेक्चर फॉर 1 वीक देन इट इज अप्रोक्स लाइक हाफ एन आवर फॉर वन लेक्चर. So there are like 6 lecture for a week. Okay, so there will be only 3 hours you have to spend, and on this in the question answer session there is 2 hour for one week lecture. So difference बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है दोनों में. Like if देखो conceptually you have to understand all the things, then you have to watch the lectures. And if you want to see the applicative sense that how we will be applying all these things on the questions, then you have to see the question answer session. Because here I'm just giving the summary of the lectures, it is not the whole lectures I'm giving. However I have given all the things which sir has discussed. But then also for having a deep kind of understanding about the concept, you must see the lectures also. If the concept is little tough, then just see the lectures also. If the concept is little like this is the hypothesis testing questions, and here the main thing is about the formulas, so you can just see the formulas and you can solve the questions. But अगर मान लो कोई question ऐसा आ गया जहाँ पे you have to use the concept, then you may not be able to like do those questions very well by using these lectures. Okay.
यस मैम, ओके, थैंक यू सो मच मैम।
Okay. So here what we are doing, we are comparing the means. Okay, so here this will be the hypothesis, because this x bar minus y bar divided by this variance, the square root of the variance is standard normal, so this will be the test. So this is for the mean. Now if
So, ma'am,
both what.
ma'am, is only the mean and variance are the two test statistics which we use, or other than these, are there other as well?
So actually the thing is, like if you are considering the normal random variable, then there are only two parameters, like we have mean and we have variance. Okay,
Yes.
so these are the parameters we basically talk about. So now if I consider an exponential distribution, then the parameter is like lambda. Okay, so then we will be talking about only lambda. So it depends upon the distribution which you are considering.
Ma'am, but for very huge data, ma'am, we always approximate it with normal distribution. So we end
Yeah.
up using only these two, mean and variance.
So if you
So,
want to approximate it, then you will be approximating it using mean and variances. But if you are taking carry forward, you are taking the like we so see approximation is like approximation. You cannot here we can do like we are using the approximation and all these things. But when you want to have a precise summary of the data, then you must be fitting the distribution which the data is like following. So it is fine. You
ma'am,
can say that
will that if have an effect, ma'am, a huge effect, or will it
no,
be?
not huge effect. It depends upon the situation actually. So not huge effect, but yeah, it generally people say that after that n equals to 30, we can approximate it by a normal distribution, but it is not exactly same. Okay, so we cannot always say. So if such thing has always relevance, then why we are studying all other distributions?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
that was the
So,
problem.
so if you want to approximate it, you want to like if the small quantity is not making that much difference, then you can approximate it with the normal distribution. But if small quantity makes a huge difference, then you have to approximate. You have to carry forward the study which have like exact distribution. Like there is a difference between t distribution and student distribution. Sorry, student t distribution and this normal distribution also. But we generally approximate the student distribution by normal distribution. So it depends upon the situation.
Ma'am, and similarly, ma'am, sometimes we also use p values.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, what change it? I mean, what is the difference by not using p value or using p value rather than using this?
So actually, p value is a different kind of interpretation for the same thing only, but the p-value kind of interpretation is not been given in these lectures. So the p-value is also representing the same thing only, but it is just a different way to conclude.
Ma'am, but calculating p values is rather straightforward. I mean,
Yeah, that depends. Actually, the p-value is not being taught here in these lectures. So we are
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
basically we are tackling with this kind of things only. We are not here dealing with the p-value, but p-value is also it is also interpreting the same things only. So actually, this p-value concept came after these theories actually.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So I will be moving forward. Actually, if there are some question, I will be discussing at the last. If there is any question regarding the concept which I am teaching right now, then you just ask. Otherwise, all the things I will be discussing in the last, because then I will not be able to complete all the questions. Okay. So here, if both the variances are equal, and for example, let us consider that to be sigma square, and which is unknown, then in that case, we will be using the t distribution. And here we have the pooled variance, that is sp square, which is constructed by using both S1 square, a sample variance for the first population, and sample variance for the second population. We have constructed this pooled variance, and from that it happens to have that like x bar minus y bar divided by sp, and this under root mn by m plus n. Now this follows t distribution with m plus n minus 2 degrees of freedom, and under the null we are considering. So that's why this mu1 and mu2 are equal. So this quantity here becomes 0. So this is basically the t distribution. So this test and decision rule is coming from there. Okay, so this is the hypothesis and these are the decision rule. And so yeah, if both are unknown, in that case, what we will do? So it is now here, it is the approximated distribution. So this x bar minus y bar divided by this quantity, this follows the t distribution approximately with new degrees of freedom. So it is not the exact distribution which it is following. So it is approximated distribution with new degrees of freedom. Now new is calculated using this formula. Okay. So this cannot be, this may not be always be an integer, so we will round it off. So we'll take the floor function for it. So floor of x we will be taking. So that means if I'm having any so for example, if I have 20.9 some value, so we'll take the floor function, means the integer before this quantity. Okay, we'll take 20. Or if we have 20.5, then also we will be taking 20. Okay, so this will be the degrees of freedom. Now, if we want to compare the variance and both mu1 and mu2 are not known, then in that case, if I want to compare the sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square, whether they are equal or not, then in that case, we have this decision rule that s1 square by s2 square. This follows the F distribution. Okay, so we have this we have this s1 square and s2 square, and sigma 1 sigma 2 square, sigma 1 square. I'm not quite sure about this. So this follows the F distribution with m minus 1 and minus 1 degrees of freedom. Then so from there, since we are considering under the null that both sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square are equal, so it will be 1 here. So it will be in the test it will come like s1 square divided by s2 square. Is if so we reject h naught if this quantity is greater than is equals to this f m minus 1 n minus 1 alpha by 2, or if this quantity is less than f m minus 1 n minus 1 1 minus alpha by 2. And similarly we will proceed for other hypotheses also. So this is when we are comparing the variances when mu1 and mu2 are not known. Now we have this now for example, we have two populations. Okay, now this x1 x2 xm is normal, and y1 y2 yn is also normal, but here we are considering that xi's and yj's are not independent. There we were considering that xi's and yj's are independent, but here if they are not independent, so we are considering that xi yj is a bivariate normal distribution, then xi minus yj will again be a normal distribution with mu1 minus mu2 mean, and sigma d will be the variance. Okay, that is variance of sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square minus 2 rho sigma 1 sigma 2. So that will be the variance, but we do not need that. So I will be writing it sigma d. So I am indicating mu1 minus mu2 as mu of d. Okay, mu d. So we want to basically compare the means mu1 minus mu2. So if mu1 minus mu2 is 0 or not, that is basically I'm testing the hypothesis that whether mu1 and mu2 are equal or not. So basically I'm considering mu d to be 0 or mu d not equals to 0. So in that case, under root n, so this will be the test statistics. So basically what is happening here, that di is basically are the normally distributed with mean mu d and variance sigma d. Variance sigma d square, so it will be the standard deviation, so it will be sigma d square. Now this d bar will be the mean. Okay, so d bar minus mu1 minus mu2 divided by the standard deviation sd divided by root n. So this will be the standard, so this will be the t distribution, because here we are using the sample variance. So this will be the t distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom, and here under the null this mu d is 0, so it will be 0. So this is d bar by sd by root n. This follows the student distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So this test is coming from there. So this so if under the null that mu d is 0 and mu d not equals to 0, so this will be the decision rule that we reject h naught if this mod, the absolute value of this is greater than or equals to t n minus 1 alpha by 2, and we reject this, the second hypothesis, if this value is less than minus t n minus 1 alpha, and the third if this quantity is greater than or equals to t n minus 1 alpha. Now apart from this, if for example consider that x1 x2 xm is a random sample from a population whose distribution may not be normal. Again, y1, y2, yn are is the population, is a sample from the population whose distribution is not normal. Then in that case, we have the large sample test. So large sample test for comparing the variances. So if, for example, I consider x1, x2, xm to be the sample from the population with variance sigma 1 square, and another one from the population whose variance is sigma 2 square, then we want to compare the variances that under the hypothesis that whether they are equal against that they are not unequal, then in that case we have this decision rule. So that is 2mn by m plus n under root of s1 minus s2 by sp. So this will standard normal. Since we have already studied this here for this case, not for this case, for the large sample case, here we had that s follows this normal sigma square by 2n. So for that case, s1 will be normal sigma 1 square by 2m, and s2 will be approximately normal sigma 2 comma sigma 2 square by 2n. So from there it is coming, and here also we have the pooled variance, pooled sample variance sp square. We will be using it in place of this s1 minus s2 divided by sp. So this will be the test statistics. So if we reject h dot, if modulus value of this is greater than or equals to z alpha by 2, and for this one again we have this, if this is less than or equals to minus z alpha, and for third one if this quantity is greater than z alpha, then we will be rejecting h naught. So these are the basic formulas, or we can say the testing or decision rules are given for the problems we will be solving further. So now we will be solving some of the problems. If anyone have any doubt in these previous slides I've discussed, then you may ask.
Ma'am, in the exams, these will be given, ma'am.
The hypothesis?
Yes. No, ma'am, not the hypothesis, ma'am. The formulas, ma'am. Decision
No,
rule.
formulas will not be given. No, formulas will not be given. The hypothesis may be given, or maybe in some question you may be asked to construct the hypothesis, but the formulas will not be given. So if the formulas are given, then what is left for you to do?
Ma'am, because it's quite tricky when to apply what, ma'am. We have to remember whether the variance is known.
Yes, so in order to test the hypothesis, you should have that understanding that when you have to apply what. So what is the situation, what is the data you have, and according to that data, what you can apply. So that is the main thing. Then only you can so that's why I am just focusing here that this, how this test is coming. So this S1 minus S2 divided by SP and into this, to this quantity is following the standard normal distribution. That's why this is coming with Z alpha Y2. Okay, so that understanding you must have in order to first of all be clear about the formulas and also be clear about the method which you have to use.
Ma'am, do we also need to know the, I mean, derivation for these?
No, derivation is not even taught to you because this is not this is not for this course. So derivation is not being taught. So the formulas are only given brief brief background of the formulas have been given. The derivations have not been given for this. However, for the confidence interval, some things are given, but not for hypothesis testing. The derivation is not there. However, for the simple hypothesis where we have discussed about the Neyman-Pearson lemma and all those things you must like follow. But for these, the derivations are not given.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we will be moving for the questions. So here the first question is, the mean monthly sale of a particular household item in department store was observed as 133.3 units per store. So it is observed that mean monthly sale is 133.3 units per store. After an advertising campaign, data on sales of this item from 25 stores. So a campaign is done for advertising about the this household item. Then after that, 25 the data of from the 25 stores has been collected. So basically, we are collecting a sample of 25 data. So n is 25 here, and it is found that the sample mean is 141.5. So sample mean basically is x bar. So it is obtained that x bar is 141.5 units, and the sample standard deviation means s we are talking about. So it is 15.2. Now we want to test the hypothesis. So what is the hypothesis? That mu is less than or equals to 133.3. Okay, at against the hypothesis mu is greater than 133.3. Now to conclude whether the advertising campaign increases the sales or not at 1% level of significance. So alpha is 1% level of significance, means alpha is 0.01. Now this is here we are testing it for mean. Okay, so we are testing it for mean. So we know that so in this case, since we have this kind of hypothesis, here we have less than equals to inequality, and against in the H1 we have greater than equality. So here, so what is the decision rule for this kind of hypothesis? That we reject H naught if, so what is the test statistic for this hypothesis? That was x bar minus mu upon s by root n. Okay, so this was the test statistic. I am just giving it as z. So this is x bar minus mu by s by root n, and since we have this as alternative, so it is greater than, so we reject h naught if this is greater than t alpha comma n minus 1. Okay, so basically this was our second case we have considered here. Since we do not know the sigma square, so here we have the sample variance there. So this case is applicable. So we reject H naught. So our hypothesis was this one. Okay, mu is less than or equals to 133. So the hypothesis is mu is less than or equals to 133 and mu is greater than 133. So it basically lies in this one. Okay, so we reject H naught if this quantity root n x bar minus mu naught by s is greater than or equals to t n minus 1 at alpha. Okay, so this equality does not make any sense. It can be equal or it can be like a single greater than also. So it is t alpha n minus 1. Now what is x bar here? So we have 141.5. So z we are calculating it. So this minus what is mu? So under the null hypothesis we have 133.3. So that is our mu naught. Okay. So I will be writing it as mu naught 133.3. divided by, so I'm taking root here in the above, so it will be a root of 25, that is 5, and divided by s. So what is s? 15.2. So just calculate what is it coming, or for better I will take it as t. So what is it coming?
So 2.63.
2.69.
2.69, yes. So 2.69 it is coming. Now we will calculate T alpha n minus 1. Now what is alpha? Alpha we have 0.01, and what is n? We have 25, so it will be 24. So it is 0.01 at 24 degrees of freedom. So we will be calculating it, or we will be finding it using the T table. So T table, we have alpha is 0.01 and degrees of freedom as 24. So it will be this value, 2.492. So it will be 2.492. Now you can see that this value is greater than, so this value t is greater than, which implies t is greater than t alpha comma n minus 1. So this implies that we reject
H naught.
H naught at 1% level of significance. Okay, so this is basically the conclusion. So mu is basically less than, we are rejecting mu less than is equals to 133.3. So we are accepting the H1, that implies mu is greater than 133. So what it basically give you, that the advertising campaign, after the advertising campaign, the average so it was one before the monthly sale was 133.3, but after advertising the sale increased, so that the average monthly sale increased from 133.3, because we are accepting the H1 and rejecting the H0 at 1% level of significance. Okay, so this is the interpretation for this question. Okay,
So,
so we
ma'am,
are
how
testing
did
here
we,
this.
ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, how did we realize that we are going to test for the variance and not for the mean, ma'am?
So it is given in the question only, no? That you are, so the hypothesis is given in the question that H naught is, we are testing it for mean. Hypothesis is given in the question that mean mu is less than equals to 133. You have to test it for mean. And if the hypothesis is not given, then some explanation that what hypothesis you need to test, that is given in the question.
Okay, so whenever a hypothesis related to mean is given, then basically we are testing for the mean.
Mean,
And if
yeah.
it is for variance, then we are
Yeah,
testing
we are
for variance.
testing. Yeah, so basically here we are testing that how the average, the mean monthly sale is increasing from 133.3 or not after an advertising campaign. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll move forward for the next one. So the average battery life of a particular brand of mobile phone according to the manufacturer is 72 hours. So the average battery life is 72 hours. In this claim that the average battery life is 72. Okay, in order to verify this claim, a consumer protection organization randomly selected 60 of these batteries. So basically in sample 60 batteries are selected, so n is 60, and discovered that the sample's mean life is 67 hours. So sample's mean life means we have x bar as 67. Each of these batteries has a life expectancy that is normally distributed. So life expectancy, we are considering that x1, x2, x how many, 60, they are normally distributed. Okay, uh, with a population standard deviation of 9 hours. So the population standard deviation, what it means, that sigma is given. So sigma is the population standard deviation and S is the sample standard deviation. So here sigma is given as 9 hours. Test the hypothesis this at 1% level of significance. So we need to test this hypothesis at 1% level of significance. Now here sigma is given. So this implies, so here sigma is known. So if sigma is known, so we'll use a test statistics x bar minus mu upon sigma by root n, which follows the standard normal distribution. So we will be applying this. So what will be the test statistic? So it will be x bar minus mu naught upon sigma by root n.
Yes, ma'am.
So now x bar is what? 67 minus what is
70.
mu naught here? 72.
72. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And sigma by root n. So sigma is 9 and n is 60. So this will be here under root of 60. So what is it coming?
Oh, 4.3, ma'am.
4.3. Okay, 4.3, or I can say more precisely 303. Okay, so it is negative of 4.303 because we are subtracting the lesser quantity. So it will be the negative. So that this is very important because we will be comparing this value. Now see, the hypothesis is mu is equals to 72, or we can also consider, so this greater than is equals to 72. Alternative, we have mu less than 72. So what will be the decision rule? So the decision rule, we reject H naught if, so I am just representing it by Z. If Z is
less.
So this is less, so this, if this less than minus Z alpha. Okay, now what alpha is, we have 1% level of significance.
Yes, 0.01.
0.01. So this is minus Z 0.01. Now how you will be finding out this minus? So let me, so if you have this standard normal curve, okay, so this point is Z 0.01, let us suppose, which implies that the area in the right hand side is 0.01. Okay, and the just opposite to this point, this is the point which is the negative of Z 0.01. Okay, and what is the specification, that the left hand side area here is 0.01. Okay, so you need to calculate this point. Now in the standard normal table, here the table I have, okay, so this is the standard normal table. Now what areas are given in this standard normal table? That is minus infinity to x. So basically, if I'm considering from the left hand side area of a point, then these areas are given.
Yes.
Okay, so if I consider this, so I want to calculate the area or the point from this table only. Okay, so what I have to do,
1 minus that part.
yeah, so if I consider it, so if I consider the whole part this, so if I find out this point, then I will be finding out this point only. So if this area I consider, so this area will be 0.99. Okay, so Z 0.01 is what? The area on the left hand side is 0.99. So
Yes.
0.99, we will be, so 0.99 is a point. Here, it will be this 0.990, so that is 2.33. Okay, so it will be 2.33. So minus of Z 0.01 will be minus of 2.33. Okay, so we reject H naught if Z is less than this quantity. Now Z is minus 4. So this is minus 4.303, which is less than minus 2.33. Okay, so in this case also we reject H naught.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we reject H naught at 1% level of significance.
Oh, ma'am, can you please again show that the boundary of 0.99, ma'am? We are starting from the left and we are
Yeah.
going till that Z value. Then we are
Yeah.
saying that we are having 0.99 area.
Yeah. So because since the area in the right hand side of Z 0.01 is 0.01.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the area in the left hand side will be 0.99 because the total area is 1.
Correct, ma'am.
So the area in the left hand side means integral from minus infinity to Z 0.01.
Will be
Okay. F
0.99, ma'am.
dx. So it will be 0.99.
Yes, ma'am.
So we want to find out this point.
Ma'am, and going to the table, we look for that area 0.99 and we
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
out that the Z value is that. But how did
Yeah.
we end up getting that? Okay, so basically it's a mirror image. That's why
Yeah. Because it is
okay.
symmetric distribution.
By
Because it is
symmetric by mu
yeah, it is it is standard normal, so it will be symmetric
at
around
0.
about 0.
Yes, yes, yes,
Because here mu is 0, no?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So because the table is giving in this way, that's why we are considering such kind of scenario. If the table is in different way, then you have to consider through that perspective. Because in the table we have from minus infinity to x areas are given. If the areas are given like x to infinity, like the area in the right hand side are given, then you have to conclude in that way.
Ma'am, it will be mentioned over there.
Yeah, it will be
Ma'am,
given.
the
So
Z
here,
values will be given in the question itself, no?
yeah, so it depends. There may be a case if the table is given to you. There may be a case that I don't know that whether the z values will be given or the values of the table is given. I don't know.
Okay, ma'am.
So it depends. I'm just telling you that if the table is given and you have to calculate it this that alpha, then how you will calculate.
Okay, ma'am.
Because in the majorly the tables are given, the z values are also given. It depends upon the instructor or the person who are making the paper. Okay, so otherwise also you should know how to see the table also, so that is also very important thing. So I hope this is clear. Okay, so just remember one thing, that if I'm writing z alpha, this implies that this is the point whose right hand side area is alpha. Then you will be having no confusion.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so we will be now moving forward for the next question. So diets A and B were administered simultaneously to two sets of children. A sample of 12 children from the set to which diet A was administered and a random sample of 15 children from the diet B were chosen, and the gains in weight after a certain period of time were collected. So these are basically after diet A, what is the weight gains? Okay, and this is the after diet B. So these are the basically the weight gains, and here 12 children are taken, and for diet B 15 children are taken. So here I can also write that M value is, what was it? So it is 12 and the N value is 15. So I'm considering it to be X and Y for the diet A and diet B. Okay. Now assume that the two populations are normally distributed. So both are normally distributed. So both are normally distributed with mean mu1 and mu2. So this is mean mu1 and this is mean mu2, and the standard deviations of two populations are equal. So here we are considering the variances are equal basically. Okay. So here this kind of scenario is there. Now in order to check whether the mean weight gain by diet A is greater than the mean weight gain. So basically you want to conclude that whether the diet A is better, the weight gain because of the diet A is more, or weight gain due to the diet B is more. You want to test basically. So here the question is, in order to check whether the mean weight gain by diet A means mu1 is greater than the mean weight gain by diet B means mu2. So here we want to check that under the null hypothesis we are saying that mu1 is greater than equals to mu2. So we want to check this, So alternative will be mu1 less than mu2 at 5% level of significance. So we want to test this hypothesis. Now here the variances are same. Okay, the population variances are same. So we will be using the pooled sample variance. So what will be the test statistics basically? So I'm writing it here. So H naught is mu1 greater than is equals to mu2, and H1 is mu1 less than mu2. Now, in order to find out this, we have the test statistics to be, since we do not know the sigma 1 square is equals to sigma 2 square is equals to sigma square. Okay, so the test statistic will be x bar minus y bar under root of mn by m plus n, okay, divided by, here we have sp. Okay, so this is the test statistics, okay, where sp is the pooled, so sp square is the pooled variance, so which is m minus 1 of s1 square plus n minus 1 of s2 square divided by m plus n minus 2. So this is basically the things. Now you just see that what is s1 square and s2 square first of all. Now s1 square is the uh, sample variance for the first for the diet A, for the first sample I can say. So it will be 1 upon m minus 1 summation xi minus x bar whole square. Okay, and s2 square will be 1 upon n minus 1 summation yj minus y bar whole square. So now how you will be calculating it? You will be calculating it using the sample values, the xi's values. So x1, x2 up to x12, y1, y2 up to y50 you have. So you will calculate x bar first because you need for s. So in order to find out this test statistic, you first have this sp, x bar, y bar, mn you have, sp square you need to calculate. For that you need to calculate s1 square and s2 square. That's why I'm writing this. Now m you have as 12, so it will be 1 upon 11. Okay, and you have summation xi minus x bar whole square. Now what is x bar and what is y bar? So x bar and y bar, so it will be what? 1 upon n summation of xi, 1 upon m. Okay, 1 upon n summation of yj. So just find out what it is. Xi we are considering it to be this one. So m is 12, so it is 1 upon 12, and sum all these values. What it will be? So what is x bar? X bar is just the average of these values. What is x bar? Any one of you is calculating? It's 46. So 46.33. Is it x bar or y bar? Actually, see, you are landing upon 46.33. Just see, there is no value in the x1, x2, x12. There is no values which is exceeding even 35. So how can average be 46.33? You just see the data only, then only you can see that there is no value which is exceeding 35. So the average can never be 46.33. So average will be, it can never be after this 35, because there is no value which is appearing to greater than 35. So you people know na how to calculate x bar. There is no doubt in that. Or I should explain that also. Just tell me. So x bar is basically we are adding up all these values, since these are the values of xi's. So we are just adding all these values and dividing it by the total number of values, that is 12. So we'll add up all these values and divide it by 12. So it will be
28.
Yeah, it will be 28. And what about y bar? So it will be 30. I've already calculated it. So you people just, if you have any problem in how we are calculating these things, just let me know. That's why I'm telling you people to calculate, so that the things are more clear to you. Okay, so y bar is 30. Okay, now what we need to find out, we need to find out the s1 square. So s1 square is basically 1 upon 11. Now here what we are doing, x bar is 28. So we are taking each of the xi's values. So 25 we are taking, subtracting it from 28 and squaring it, then adding it with 32 minus 28 whole square. So it is, so the first value is 25, then 32. So it is 25 minus 28 whole square plus 32 minus 28 whole square plus, similarly we'll do for all the samples, then we will be finding out the value of s1 square. I'm writing it directly because we are not having that much of time. So it is 30, not this, it is 34.54. So this is s1 square. Okay, now similarly s2 square will be 1 upon 15, not 15, 1 upon 14 divided by yj minus y bar whole square, and y bar we are having it to be 30. So I'm just writing it directly. So s2 square will be 100.71. Okay, so now since we have s1 square with us, s2 square with us, so we will be calculating sp square. So sp square is equals to m minus 1, that is 12 minus 1, that is 11, into s1 square. Now s1 square is 34.54. It is 34.54 plus n minus 1, that is 15 minus 1, 14, into 100.71 divided by m plus n minus 2. So this quantity sp square will be 71.6 and sp will be 8.461. Okay, so this will be the value of the pooled standard deviation, I can say. Now here we have sp, we have x bar, y bar, mn and m plus n. So the value of the test statistic will be, so it is under root of m into n, that implies 12 into 15 divided by m plus n, that is 27, into x bar minus y bar. So x bar minus y bar, 28 minus 30. So that is minus 2 divided by sp. So sp is 8.461. So this quantity will be minus 0.61. So this is basically the value of the test statistic. Okay, so what will be the decision rule for this? We reject H naught if our test statistic. Now, what is our hypothesis? Hypothesis in we have mu1 is less than mu2. So this will be in less than. So test statistic is less than minus of t m plus n minus 2 comma alpha. Okay. So we will be finding out this value of t from the t table. So what it will be? So minus of t, m plus n minus 2 is 25, and alpha is, we have in the question, alpha is 0.05 because we are testing on 5% level of significance. So it is 0.05. So this value we will be finding out using the, so same thing in the t table, we have this t 0.05, the area is 0.05 in the right hand side. Okay, and minus t or 0.05 will be the opposite, the mirror image of this thing in the negative direction. So this we will be finding out using the t table. Now here in the t table, the values are given for the area in the right hand side only. So we will directly find out at what is t 0.05 at how much degrees of freedom? 25 degrees of freedom. So it is 1.708. So it will be minus 1.708. So this is the value for this. So we reject H naught if this is less than minus of this. So minus 0.61 is greater than minus 1.708. That implies we cannot reject H naught. Is that fine? Since the decision rule was that if test statistic is less than this quantity, then we'll reject H naught. But actually the test statistic is greater than this quantity, so we cannot reject H naught.
Yes, ma'am.
So what does it mean? So if we, in this question we cannot reject H naught, implies we accept H naught. So this implies that for the weight gain by diet A is more as compared to the diet B. Okay. So is that okay now? There is no doubt in this question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I will be moving forward for the next one. So a fitness trainer claims that their workout program program B leads to greater weight loss compared to another fitness program A. So they are claiming that program B is leading to greater weight loss as compared to program A. So this is greater weight loss as compared to program A. Okay. Now to test this claim, a researcher conducted a study with two groups of randomly selected participants. The weight loss achieved by participants following program A and program B are recorded. So these are the weight loss. Okay. So mu1 will be the average weight loss or the mean weight loss. Mu2 will be the mean weight loss from the program B. So assuming that weight loss achieved by participants in program A and program B follows the normal distribution mu1 sigma 1 square, normal mu2 sigma 2 square. So here we are considering them to be normally distributed, both of them. Test the trainer's claim based on the observed sample as H naught mu1 is less than is equals to mu2, means the weight loss in program A is less than is equals to weight loss in program B, and H1 is mu1 greater than mu2 at 5% level of significance. So we need to check this claim. Okay, we need to test this hypothesis. Now just see here nowhere it is written that both the sample variances are same. So that implies we are considering not the sample, the population variances. So we are considering that population variances are different. So here sigma 1 square is not equals to sigma 2 square. So if sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square are not equal, and we need to compare the mean. Okay, so we will be using the test statistic. So the test statistic is x bar minus y bar divided by under root of s1 square by m plus s2 square by n. Now this follows t distribution with new degrees of freedom. Okay, now where new is given as s1 square upon wait a minute, what was that formula? So it is s1 square upon m plus s2 square upon n whole square divided by s1 to the power 4 upon m square into m minus 1 plus s2 to the power 4 upon n square into n minus 1. Okay, so this is basically the formula for calculating the degrees of freedom. Now, first of all, we'll calculate the test statistic. Test statistic we can calculate. In order to compare, we have to calculate the degrees of freedom. So for test statistic to calculate, I should have this S1 square and S2 square. So again, I have these samples, and I will calculate the X bar and Y bar, and then S1 square and S2 square. Okay, so what is X bar and what is Y bar?
X bar is
So here
4.85.
X bar is 4.85, Y bar.
Oh, ma'am, just a minute. Can you show the data, ma'am?
Okay.
4.74.
So it is 4.74. So now using this, we will be calculating S1 square. So that is 1 upon m minus 1. So there are how many?
12.
So we have
12.
12 we have. Okay, so it will be 1 by 11 summation xi minus x bar whole square. And S2 square will be how
No,
many these are?
10. 10 are there.
10. How? 2 are.
Out of 12, we are missing 2, no? 10.
2, yeah, so it will be 10. So it will be 9 here, okay, and minus 1. So this we need to calculate. It is a little lengthy calculation since we are having the average value as this 4.85, so there will be point value. So I'm writing it directly. So S1 square will be what it is. It is 4.094 and S2 square will be 2.48. Okay, so this is S1 square. So we have now S1 square, S2 square, Mn and X bar. So test statistic we can calculate. So what is the test statistic? So it is X bar minus Y bar, that is 4.85 minus 4.74 divided by under root of 4.094 divided by m, that is 12, plus 2.48 divided by n, that is 10. So this will be the value of the test statistic, which is
Ma'am, what
coming
is
out
this 4.85 and 4.75, ma'am?
4.85 and
Oh, mean.
4.74.
Sorry. Yes,
So this
sorry.
is the mean, sample mean. Yeah. So the value of the test statistic will be 0.1433. Okay. So this is the test statistic. Now what we need to do, now in order to compare, so let me write the decision rule here. So we reject H naught if test statistic. So what is the hypothesis? Mu1 is greater than mu2. So if this is greater than T new degrees of freedom at alpha. Okay. Now we need to find out that what is T new alpha. Now for that, since we know at 5% level of significance alpha is 0.05, but what is nu? Now we need to find out nu. So now nu is this quantity. Now S1 square by m. What is S1 square? 4.094 by m, that is
12.
12,
Yes.
plus that is
2.48
2.48. Yeah, 2.48
divided by
by
10.
10. So it is whole square divided by S1 to the power 4. So it is 4.094 to the square divided by 12 square into m minus 1, that is 11, plus 2.48 square, because s to the power s2 to the power s2 to the power 4. So it is square of this. So it is this divided by 10 square into 9. So this is basically the expression you will be getting. Now after calculating this, so it will be 19.93. Okay, now it is, because degrees of freedom it is coming as 19.93. So we'll just take the integer value. So let me add a page. So nu will be, we'll taking the floor function. So it will be, so we'll taking the nu to be 19.93, which is equals to 90. Okay, so this is 19. So we will be finding out T nu alpha. Alpha is 0.05. So T 19 0.05. Now we can just find out using the table directly. So T table, we have this 0.05, and at 19 degrees of freedom it is 1.729. So it is 1.729. Now we can see that what is the test statistic value is 0.1433. Now test statistic 0.1433 is less than T19 0.05. So now this implies we cannot reject H0 at 5% level of significance, because to reject it, test statistic should be greater than this quantity. Okay, so decision rule we have written that we reject H0 if this holds, but this is not holding because the value of the test statistic is coming less than the value of T nu alpha. So is this fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next question. So here, firm manufacturing rivets wants to limit variations in their length as much as possible. The length in centimeter of 10 rivets manufactured by a new process are given. So by a new process, the lengths are measured. So by a new process, the rivets are manufactured, and now they are taking a sample after manufacturing the rivets by the new process. So the samples are given as this 2.15, 1.99, and all these samples are given. Okay, now test the hypothesis H0 that sigma square is greater than or equals to 0.021 against sigma square less than 0.01 at 5% level of significance to see if new process is better than the old one. Assume that the population of length of rivets has a normal distribution. So we are considering to be exercise to be normally distributed from mu comma sigma square. Now here you see that we need to test for the sigma square, for the variance. Okay, so we will be calculating this, and also here the mean is unknown. Okay, mean is unknown. Now since the mean is unknown, so what operation we are using, or what test statistic we will be using, that n minus 1 s square by sigma naught square follows chi square distribution. So that we will be using, because the mean is unknown here. Okay, so here the mean is unknown, so the test statistic is given as W is equals to, or I would show you in this. So if mu is unknown, then how we check? So in this case, mu is known. Now in this case, mu is unknown, and we need to check it for the sigma square. That sigma square is greater than sigma naught square. So here we are using the test statistic to be n minus 1 s square by sigma naught square. Okay. So we will be following this. So this is n minus 1 s square by sigma naught square. And what is sigma naught? Sigma naught is given in the null hypothesis only, that is 0.021. Sigma naught square actually, this is 0.021. Okay, so this is the test statistic. Now for this also we need to calculate S square, that is the sample variance. So S square is what? 1 upon n summation xi minus x bar whole square.
Ma'am, 1
So this
upon n minus 1, na? Sample
sorry,
variance.
yeah. So how many n we have? 1, 2, 3, 4,
10,
5.
ma'am.
Okay, so 10 we have. So it is 1 upon 9 summation xi minus x bar whole square. Now what is x bar here?
2.068.
X bar is 2.068. Is that? So this is question number 4. 5. Okay. So yeah, x bar is 2.068. You have calculated it correctly, na?
Ma'am, let me just recheck, ma'am.
Yeah, just check it. Yeah, it is correct. Correct. It is correct. I have also calculated it. Yeah, it is correct. So s square will be 0.01. I'm writing it directly now. So it is 0.01. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out the test
Ratio.
statistic.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so it will be n minus 1 will be 9 into s square will be 0.01. So we are finding it W. So this is divided by sigma naught square. So which is 0.021. 021. Now find out this quantity. What is it coming?
Ma'am, 4.29.
29. Okay. Okay. So this is the value of the test statistic. Now if we see the hypothesis, so here we have sigma square greater than or equals to this and sigma square less than this. So here what will be the decision rule? So decision rule, we reject H naught if W is, so what is in the alternative? That sigma square is less than. So here also it will come less. So it is less than chi square 1 minus alpha at n minus 1 degrees of freedom.
9.
Okay. So it will be this. Now we need to calculate this value, chi square 1 minus alpha comma n minus 1. So what is chi square? Now what is the level of significance? It is 5%. So that is, so alpha is 0.05. So 1 minus alpha is 0.95 and n minus 1 degrees of freedom, n is 10, so it will be 9. So we'll be seeing it from the chi-square table, 0.95 at 9 degrees of freedom. So 0.95, so this at 9 degrees of freedom, so it will be this quantity, 3.325. Yeah. So now this is W, we calculated 4.29. Now 4 W, that is 4.29, is greater than chi square 0.95 at 90 degrees. So what it implies? That we cannot reject H naught at 5% level of significance. Okay. So this will be our conclusion. So here the main thing is about the formulas and the remembering these things. If you remember this, then you will be able to do it.
Ma'am, the question can, I mean, if there could be a question wherein we are actually required to find the level of significance, then we have to follow these all same steps, and let's say the value is given, then we can always find that, na ma'am?
Yeah, reverse question, but reverse question may also be asked that also you have this, you have to find out the level of significance at which this hypothesis is rejected. Okay, so
Ma'am, but in that case, then it has to be mentioned now whether the test is two tail test or one tail test. So,
yeah, that
because
will be mentioned. The hypothesis will be mentioned.
Mhm.
Like everything will be mentioned. Otherwise, there is a question in. We will be discussing one of the question on which in which it is asked that what is the condition or what is the condition on x bar and y bar such that this hypothesis at this percent of significance is rejected. I mean, in that case, we have the hypothesis, we have the level of significance we need to find out. So you will just be having these all these things, and you need to find out that at what level of significance alpha we will be rejecting it. Now, of course, the values of alpha, like you will be considering the value of alpha to be 0.05, 0.01. Then there will be a time where when this value is less than the corresponding chi-square value, then in that case you will reject h naught. So all the things will be given to you, then only the reverse question will be asked.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the next question. So one of the quality measures of glucose meter strips is the consistency of the test results on the same sample of blood. Now here the consistency is, now how this consistency is measured? So consistency is measured by the variance of the readings. Okay, this is important. Is in repeated testing. Suppose two types of strips A and B are compared for their respective consistency. So basically, how we are comparing these two types of strips, it basically with respect to consistencies means with respect to variance we are considering. Okay, we arbitrarily label the population of type A strips population 1 and population of type B strips population 2. Suppose 15 type A strips were tested with blood drops from well shaken vial, and 20 type B strips were tested with the blood from the same vial. The results are summarized below. Maybe there is a like the sample size is 16 and 21. Here is 15 and 20 is written, so it is might be 16 and 21. So we will be considering this table, however. So strip of type A, so we have sample size 16, and strip of type B, we have sample size 21. We have sample variances. So basically, it is our M, this is our N, and this is sample variance means S1 square, and this is S2 square. Okay. Assume that the glucose readings using type A strips follow normal distribution with sigma 1 square variance. So basically, it is following the normal mu 1 sigma 1 square, and it is also following normal mu 2 sigma 2 square. Test at the 10% level of significance whether the data provide sufficient evidence to conclude that the consistency of two types of strips are different. So basically here, what is it asking? That we need to test a 10% level of significance whether the data which is provided here is sufficient evidence to conclude that the consistencies of two types of strips are different. Means basically we need to calculate that whether the consistency are equal or not, and consistency here is measured by the variance. So basically what will be the hypothesis? So h naught will be that sigma 1
So
square is equals
equal
to
to,
sigma 2 square.
okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, can we
And
take the other way around, ma'am?
no,
No.
we take the equality one in the null only. Okay, and in the when we are taking the inequality, so because we are here all the test which we are considering under the null only. There for example, here I have given this. Okay, if this is not this, for example, if I take this, so in this case, S1 square by S2 square is not following the F distribution. Here the sigma 2 square S1 square by sigma 1 square S2 square is following the F distribution. But under the null, since this sigma 1 square and sigma 2 square are equal, then we are concluding that S1 square by S2 square is following the
Uh,
Fm minus 1, and we are getting this
Ma'am,
one.
but basically we are writing sigma square, sigma 2 S1, sorry, sigma 1. Okay, sigma 2 S1 square by sigma 1 square S2 square, and we are actually cancelling it out because they are equal. That's why, ma'am, we are doing it there, na, ma'am. But
Yeah,
actually, we are comparing the ratios only, no?
no, yeah, we are comparing the ratio, but here, when you can cancel it under the null, under the assumption that the null hypothesis is true, then
Okay,
only
yes,
you
yes,
can.
yes, ma'am. True, ma'am. True, ma'am. My
Yeah,
mistake, my mistake. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, that's why we are considering in the null as equal. Here also, if in place of this, I can consider that sigma 1 square is equals to sigma 2 square, and on the alternative, I can take this. Now, this is also the equivalent hypothesis. In place of this greater than equals to, I can take the sigma 1 square equals to sigma 2 square and this one. Then also, I will be having the same results. Okay. So
Yes,
basically, in the
ma'am.
null, we are considering that both the quantities are equal.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Got it.
Yeah. So here sigma 1 square is not equals to sigma 2 square. So this is basically our hypothesis. Now we need to test. Now here we have uh, two normal distributions, and the variance is also again here we do not know. Okay, and we need to compare the variance basically. Okay, so since we need to compare the variance, so we will be applying this F distribution one that I have already shown you here. So it will be this. So it will be this one. So this is basically this hypothesis, and we will be applying this decision rule that we reject H naught if S1 square by S2 square is greater than equals to this quantity, or if this is less than equals to this quantity. So for that, we will be first finding out the statistic, that is the ratio, and we'll be finding out these 2 points. Okay. So S1 square is this, and S2 square is this. So S1 square is 2.09 and S2 square is 1.10. So the test statistic will be 2.09 divided by 1.10. So what it will be?
1.9.
1.9. Okay, now you have to check that because it is a two-sided test. So we need to find out both the values, that is f m minus 1 n minus 1 comma we have alpha by 2. Okay,
Yes,
alpha
ma'am.
by 2 and f m minus 1 n minus 1 1 minus alpha by 2. Okay, so now this will be, now m is what? 16 and 21. So it is 15 and 20. It is 15 and this is 20. And what is level of significance? 10. So this alpha is 0.10. So alpha by 2 will be
0.05.
0.05. Okay. Now this is, now this is m minus 1. Now I can also write it in another way, that f of 1 upon f of n minus 1 m minus 1 alpha by 2. So this relation we have already proved, that f of m minus 1 n minus 1 1 minus alpha by 2 is equals to this quantity. We just exchange the degrees of freedom and replace the 1 minus alpha by 2 by alpha by 2. Then these both quantities are same. So it will be 1 upon f of 20 comma 15, and alpha by 2 is 0.05. So now we have the table for alpha, the value of alpha is 0.05. So we will be calculating it. So we will be finding out this. So it is F15 in the numerator. So it is 15 in the numerator, 20 in the denominator. So it is this. So it will be, and it is alpha 0.0, corresponding alpha 0.05. So it will be this value, 2.2033. Okay, so it will be 2.2033. And now here, this is change degrees of freedom, 20 and 15. Numerator degree is 20. So numerator degree is 20 and denominator degree is 15. This. So it will be 2.3275. So it will be 1 upon 2.3275. Okay, so f of m minus 1 n minus 1 alpha by 2 is 2.2033, and f of m minus 1 n minus 1
n minus 1. Oh, okay.
no,
Oh,
yeah,
1
I'm
by 2.
writing it.
Fine.
So this is what? This is the reciprocal. So it is
0.429.
496. Yeah. So now we reject H naught. What is the decision rule? We reject H naught if our test statistic.
It's
So if the
not
test
equal.
we is if this test statistics is lying, if the test statistic is less than less than this quantity, so if this is less than f of, or I can directly write the value. So if the test statistic is less than 0.4296, or test statistic is greater than 2.2033. Now what is that? The value of test statistic, that is 1.9, but test statistic is 1.9, which is satisfying neither of them.
Yes.
It is basically lying between them, not outside. Okay, so 1.9 is greater than 0.4 and less than 2.2. So this implies that we
Failed to
cannot
reject.
reject H naught at 5% level of significance. Not 10%. 10%. Okay, so this way, now why am I calculating this way? Because if in case you have only one this corresponding to alpha is equals to 0.05 in the table, the table is given for only alpha to the value of this quantity as 0.05, then you will be calculating both the values by using this only. Na? If both the quantities are not available, then you will be calculating using this. If both the things like 1 minus alpha by 2, this is also available, then in that case it will be 0.95 here. Now if both the tables are available, then you may calculate it directly. Okay, so is this fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll be moving forward for the next question. So a study has been conducted on the variance in 1000 meters of yarn using random samples produced by machine A and machine B. And the following information is obtained. Machine A, number of observations in the sample. So basically M is 13 here. Variance, that is S1 square, is 51. And machine B, number of observation N is 10 here. And variance, that is S2 square, is 20 here. Tells the hypothesis this: at the level of significance 0.05, suppose sample 1 and sample 2 are drawn independently from this and this. Okay, so now what we need to compare the variances. Okay, so again, since we need to compare the variances, so here we have this s1 square and s2 square. So what we will be finding out? So we need to compare the variances. So we again will be going with the ratio, and also the both are from the normal distribution. So we will be finding out through the ratio. So it will be like t will be what? S1 square by S2 square. Okay. Now here it will be 51 upon 20. So what it will be?
2.55.
So it is 2.55. Now since this is a one-sided test, so we only need one of the f. So this is greater than sigma 1 square is greater than sigma 2 square. So what is the decision rule? That we reject H naught if our test statistic is greater than f m minus 1 n minus 1 alpha. Okay, so what it will be? So test statistic we have found out. what is f m minus 1? So m minus 1 is 13 minus 1, 12, and 10 minus 1, 9. 12, 9, and at 0.05. Okay, so it will be from the table. Degrees of freedom for the numerator is 12, and for the denominator it is 9. So it will be here 3.0729. So it is 3.0729. Okay, so yeah. So now what is the value of the test statistic? It is 2.55. So 2.55
less than
is less than 3.0729. So this implies we
it
cannot
failed to reject.
reject H naught at 5% level of significance. Okay, so yeah. So this is similar to that, but that the before the question was the previous question was two, that is for the two-sided one, and it is the single side test. So now the next question is, now a company is evaluating the performance of two different types of vehicles in terms of their fuel efficiency. The variance in fuel consumption of these vehicles is under scrutiny. The company collected the following data. So vehicle 1, the sample size, sample mean, and sample variance is given. So this is basically M, this is basically X bar, and this is S1 square. This is N, this is Y bar, and this is S2 square. The company wishes to investigate whether there is a significant difference in their variability of fuel consumption between the two types of vehicles. Using a large sample test for comparing variance of two populations, test the hypothesis this. So since now here we have to use the large sample test because here the individual distribution is not given to be normal. So we will be using the large sample test for comparing the variances. So what was the test statistics for that? So test statistics for that was under root 2mn divided by mn into s1 minus s2 divided by sp. Okay, so this is the pooled standard deviation. So we need s1 s2. So s1 square and s2 square is already there. So s1 s2 we will be calculating, like s1 will be the square root of 2.5. So s1 will be
1.58.
so it will be the 1.58, and s2
Ma'am, can you show the value? S2
s2
square.
square is 2.1. 2.1.
1.45.
1.45. Okay. So sp square now we will be calculating. So it will be m minus 1. What is m? M is 50. So it is 49. M minus 1. S1 square. Now S1 square is what? 2.5. 2.5 plus it is n minus 1, that is 39, and s2 square, that is 2.1, divided by m plus n minus 2, that is 50 plus 40 minus 2. So this will be our sp square, which came out to be 2.322. Okay, so sp will be square root of this thing. So it will be
1.52.
yeah, 1.523. Now this is SP, this is S1, S2, we have MN. So what will be the value of the test statistic? So it will be under root of twice of M, which is 50, N, which is 40, MN, that is 50, sorry, M plus N we have here. It is 50 plus 40. Okay. Yeah. And S1 minus S2, that is 1.58 minus 1.45 divided by SP, that is 1.523. Now calculate this value. So it will be, so here it will be 90, 1 0 will get cancelled. 400 by 9, 9 I think it will come. So it will be square root of 400 by 9 into this quantity, 1.58 minus 1.45. So this quantity will be 0.0866. Okay, and this will be 20 divided by 3 into 0.0866. So it will be okay. So this will be the value of the test statistic. Okay, now what will be our decision rule for this? So here we have the decision rule. Now since this follows a standard normal distribution, so we have the decision rule in the form of the Z alpha by alpha. So here we are calculating the both sided. Sigma 1 square is equals to
Yes,
sigma 2 square and not
total
equals to.
test.
Yeah, so it will be a mod value. So this is, we reject H naught if mod of test statistic is greater than Z alpha by 2. Now what is Z alpha by 2? Alpha is 0.05, so alpha by 2 will be
Point zero
Z
two
0.025. Okay, now what will be this value? Now Z 0.025, what it means? That it is Z 0.025 means the right hand area is
0.025.
0.025. So the left hand area will be
75.
0.975. So we'll find out this 975 in the table. So 0.975, this will be this 1.96. So it is, which is equals to 1.96. Now mod of this value is this 0.577. So but 0.577 is less than 1.96. So what it implies that we cannot reject H naught. At how much? 5% level of significance. Okay. Now we will be moving forward for the next question. So now here consider two groups of students. Group A of 45 students, so M is 45 here. Group B of 60 students, N is 60 here. Group A attends a new tutoring program, while Group B follow the traditional tutoring method. The test scores of the students and the Group A follows. So if I consider that to be X, so it is basically the test scores. Okay, so it follows normal distribution with mu 1, mean and variance 120. Y is again test scores. So this follows normal mu 2 150. We want to test if there is a significant difference in the mean test scores between the groups. The significant difference between the mean what the null hypothesis is that mu 1 is equals to mu 2 and the alternative is mu 1 is not equals to mu 2, because we need to check whether there is a significant difference or not. So H naught will be this and H1 will be mu 1 not equals to mu 2. Okay, and the null hypothesis is that mean test scores of both our groups are equal, while the alternative is that means are not equal. So that is I have written. Now find the condition on difference between the sample means. Now we need to find a condition on difference between the sample means. That implies sample means is we are considering, so sample means for uh, both the test scores be, let x bar and y bar. Okay, so now here it is asking that find the condition on difference between the sample means of two groups so that the null hypothesis is rejected at 1% level of significance. So when do we reject this null? So here in this case, so null is mu1 is equals to mu2. So here we reject h null, so it is a two-tailed test here, and also we know the sample the population variances. Okay, so we know the sigma 1 square and we know sigma 2 square, and we need to compare the mean. So basically here we will be following that x bar minus y bar divided by, so what will be the test statistic?
Mod of
This
x
will be yeah, x bar minus y bar divided by under root of sigma 1 square by m plus sigma 2 square by n. So it will be, so x bar minus y bar will be as it is, and under root of sigma 1 square is 120 and m is 45. So 120 by 45 plus 150 by 60. Okay, so this will be x bar minus y bar divided by what is this quantity? Under root of
2.27.
2.27.
273.
Okay, so it will be this quantity. Now this is the test statistics. Now what will be our decision rule? So we reject H naught if mod of test statistic is greater than Z alpha by 2. Okay, now what is alpha? Now at 1% level of significance.
0.01.
So alpha is 0.01. So alpha by 2 will be 0.005. Okay, so it is Z 0.005. Now this will be, now in the right hand side the area is 0.005, so left hand side it is 0.995. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so we will be seeing the value of 0.995. So 0.995, it will be this value, that is 2.35. Not this is 990, 0.995 we need to find out. So this,
2.57.
yeah, 2.57. So it will be 2.57. Okay, now here, so we will be having, so that is mod of x bar minus y bar divided by 2.273. 2.273 is greater than 2.57. That is mod of x bar minus y bar is greater than, multiply these two, 2.57, 2.273. What it will be?
5.844.
Yeah. So this is the condition on the difference between the means so that we are able to reject the H naught. Okay. So here what it was asked, that find the condition on difference between the sample means of the two groups so that the null hypothesis is rejected at 1% level of significance. So is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the average daily milk yield of a sample of 12 cows from one farm was found to be 24 liters. So sample of 12 cows means M is 12, and the average daily milk was found to be 24 liters. So x bar is 24. Okay, with a standard deviation of 3 liters. So S1 is 3. A second sample of 15 cows. Now N is taken to be 15. Selected from a different farm showed an average daily milk yield of 21 liters. So it is 21 with a standard deviation of 2 liter. Okay. Suppose we wish to investigate whether there is a significant difference between the milk yields of the two farms. So the null is mu1 is equals to mu2, and the alternative is not equals to. So that this is again a 2. two-tailed test. So assuming that the two population follows normal distribution with mean mu1, mu2 and with equal variances, means that sigma 1 square is equals to sigma 2 square is equals to sigma square. So basically it is coming here that we have to use a pooled variance because both the variances are equal and unknown. So we need to find the value of the test statistic. Okay. So in this case, what will be the test statistic? So it will be basically x bar minus y bar divided by under root of,
S1 square by
so it is SP directly, SP, and here it is m plus n divided by mn, where SP square is m minus 1, s1 square plus n minus 1, s2 square divided by m plus n minus 2. Okay. Now we have s1 square, we have s1 and s2. So s1 square is 9, s2 square is 4. Okay, m we have 12 and s 15. So sp square will be 12 minus 1 means 11. S1 square is 9 plus 15 minus 1 is 14. S2 square is 4 divided by 12 plus 15 minus 2. So it will be 99 plus 56 divided by 25. So what it is?
6.2.
6.2.
Yes, ma'am.
So what will be the SP?
2.49.
2.49. Okay. So this is SP value. Now we will be finding out the test statistic. So test statistic will be x bar minus y bar, that is 24 minus 21. 24 minus 21 divided by SP. So SP was 2.49. Here under root of m in m plus n divided by mn. M plus n. I have written it wrongly. So it is mn divided by m plus n. Yeah. So it will be 12 and 15. So it is 12 into 15 divided by 12 plus 15. So it is 3 divided by 2.49 under root of 12 into 15 divided by 27. Just calculate it.
2.67.
2.67. Who is it?
2.66, I think.
So what is this value coming? This value?
2.58.
2.58. So it is 3 into 2.58 divided by 2.49.
It's 3.11. Sorry, my
Yeah,
mistake.
it is 3.11. So this is the the value of test statistics. And also we can also find out what will be the decision rule. So what is the decision rule here? So decision rule is we reject H naught if mod of test statistic is greater than Z alpha by 2 at alpha percent level of significance. Okay. So here, since alpha is not given, so let me consider alpha. So let alpha to be 0.05. Okay. So in that case, what it will be, Z alpha by 2 will be Z
0.02.
0.025. So which we have already calculated before. No, this is 0.05. 0.05 means we have to calculate 0.975. So what it will be? 0.975, it is 1.96. Okay. So it is 1.96. Now, what is the value of this? This is 3.11. Now since 3.11 is greater than 1.96.
Reject.
So this implies we reject H naught at 5% level of sigma. So this will be our conclusion.
So like in this question, it was not given, alpha value was not given, so we took it as 5% only.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've just shown it. Yeah, I can also take it as to be 1% or 1% level of significance, 10%. So it will be given to you because you will be having a precise question, and based upon that question there will be options. So this will be given to you. In this question, only the value of the test statistic was asked. That's why they have not given the value of alpha. So I've just considered to be 0.05. So yeah, all the questions we have done. Now, if there are doubts, then I can take. So the questions which we have discussed, I hope these are clear and the concept is clear to you.
Ma'am, the only issue is how to go, remember the test statistics, ma'am. The conditions are given and we have to identify that particular test statistics has to be used. That's where the real problem is.
Yeah. So you just see you have studied the confidence interval. How we construct the confidence interval? You
No, ma'am.
you have
Yes,
not
yes.
studied. That's why it
No.
is a little difficult task for you. So if you consider this first case, now if you want to you construct the confidence interval, then you will be using this under root n x bar minus mu naught divided by sigma naught. In that case, you will be considering only the mu. Okay, not mu naught. So it will be x bar minus mu upon sigma by root n, and you will be constructing the confidence interval based upon this statistic only. So it is quite related to the concept of the confidence interval. So
Ma'am, which
basically,
week
when
is that, ma'am?
so we have discussed, I think week 10. In week 10, we have discussed the confidence interval. I'm not sure, but maybe I think in week 10 only we have
Yes, ma'am.
discussed
Yes,
it.
ma'am. It's lecture 61, 62.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'll go through it, ma'am.
Yeah, you just watch the lectures of the professor for the confidence interval. Then you will be able to understand, because here basically we are testing it for mu, and we are testing the same thing, that whether mu naught lies in the confidence interval or not. If it do not lies in the confidence interval, then we reject h naught. Okay, so this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
basically that thing only. So if you so these all the tests are related to those. If you go through that, then you will be like able to understand.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So if anyone I have any doubt, then just let me know. This will be our last class. Then you have exam. So when you have your exam in May? So you have your exam in next month.
Yes.
May 3rd, ma'am. May 3.
Okay, on third of May. Yeah. So all the best, all of you. So all of you who are in the meeting, all of you are giving examination. Okay. So all the best for your examination. If there are no doubts, then I will be ending this meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, all of you.